Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is technical analysis of the stock market today. Today is Monday, August 11th, 2014. We're going to take a look at the market action today. So one just quick day, and we'll see what it did today. Not much. And then we'll do an update on the trade ideas because we had some we got into, out of, and looking at for tomorrow. Okay, so the Dow was up 16 points today. It's tried to rally, sold back off, basically kind of a doji day, so it's not above the 10. The indicators are still mixed on this. The RSI is not above 50, DI minus is still greater than DI plus, and the demand index is still negative. So the indicators are not showing any kind of positive sign. It hasn't closed above 10, so I don't know. I mean, the jury's out as to right now. It's not showing me that it wants to go higher. We'll watch and see. Let's look at the S&P 500. The S&P closed a little bit stronger, well, right at the 10. Its indicators, not much better on that. And so I'm honestly sit back and we'll talk about this. I mean, I'm sitting here getting bullish signals on stocks and for call buying calls, and I'm like, wow, what's going on? But anyway, we'll come back to that, and it could be it's because of the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ here is acting a lot stronger. You got the 21 above the 55 above the 233, so the intermediate and long term are still in sync. The 10. You've got a close above the 10, nice close above the 10 here. Now, granted, I like to see more than one close. I like to see two closes in a row on the indices. I like to see two closes in a row, and sometimes that doesn't even guarantee anything. But when they're in sync, it kind of helps. And when you look at the indicators, the RSI closed above 50 here. This is closing the gap in terms of DI minus and DI plus. Demand index just turned positive. Okay, so that's nice. And so when you see, and sometimes that demand index will fluctuate, but back in here, if you look at this, the demand index, broke above 0 when the RSI was, above 50, and you had it closes above the 10. Now, let me see if I can read that. Demand index positive 0.44, just barely, but it was. So you kind of get the several things in sync, and you're kind of like, okay, looks like it wants to go. So we'll see. The other thing about the NASDAQ is I think we have completed, I think we're in a fifth wave, and that fifth wave, this looks like 1, 2, maybe a 2 down to here. It's hard to tell. 3, and then a 4, kind of a flat, kind of an A, B, C down to here, 5, and now it's wanting to turn and go. We'll see if it does. Okay, the next thing is the Russell 2000. Not as bullish as the NASDAQ. You've got the 21 is not in sync. It's broken down below the 55 pretty substantially. Now you do have a couple of closes above the 10 here, so that could be some signal returning, and you've got the RSI greater than 50. Don't have a demand index because I don't have volume, and demand uses volume as one of its components. That's why I like the demand index. DI minus is still above DI plus here, but again, they're kind of closing the gap and look like one more positive day, and they may want to cross. Okay, so the Russell could be on a little bit of a comeback trail too for some kind of bounce. We'll see. All right, that's it on the indices. Let's take a look at the volatility index. The VIX dropped down pretty substantially today. Kind of surprised me for just the small move in the market. So that could be, I don't know, it's hard to tell, but it could be setting us up for, that we are going to move higher, that the VIX is, not going to go anywhere. Maybe this divergence was all we were going to get. Let's see. Short-term index is still sitting at neutral. The 10-day is 1.13, and the high-low index is bounced back, and actually this little trend line I drew, it looks like it's kind of broken it. So it's back above zero, positive, kind of like this move here in early February. You know, you just don't know. I mean, this could all of a sudden just decide that, you know, no, we don't want to go down. Okay. All right, that's it for the market tonight. 1 day's worth of activity. I think we don't need to overkill it. Let me go back to the Dow. Yeah, you know, we're just going to have to wait and see what kind of action we get on this. You know, and again, I'm getting buy signals on some of these. Of course, I still got puts on Green Mountain, but let's talk about ones that we were in. We're still in, okay, we're still in Green Mountain. I'm not going to pull that up. No change in Green Mountain, no change in US Steel. Still tracking nicely, although it was a very small doji bar today on US Steel, but I'm not messing with it. I'm just going to sit and see if I can ride it. And then on Candy Technologies, we got two things happened. We took a profit at 20, so we got a profit on half of our puts, or half of our calls, sorry. And then when it pulled back and the bid got to where I entered it and bought them at back over here, I exited the second half at break even, zero. So we're out of the position now. And I may have gotten whipped, but you just don't know. You just don't know. And I'm not willing to gamble that you know, if I booked a profit on half my position, I don't want to take a loss on the second half that offsets the profit on the first half. You know, that'd be, you know, that's when you just want to kind of go shoot yourself, you know. So I don't want to do that. All right. So those are the ones we're in. Now let's talk about some others that we got into today. So let's look at SOFI, which was kind of interesting. It acted like it didn't want to go most of the day, kind of up and back, and then it went. And we got the entry in here. Details again were on the Trade Ideas page, and we had a nice move up. And this is looking interesting. I mean, it's looking like it is doing a, you know, a possible head and shoulders in here. And nice sharp move up here to the neckline. I mean, if this thing breaks and goes with any kind of volume, I mean, you could get a pretty good move. I mean, you know, the move here, this is the distance, and you take that and you add that up here, you know, and that's the kind of move we'd be looking at. Now we'll have to look at the wave count and just see where it goes, but this could be real interesting on SOFI. So we are in SOFI, and I will update. I haven't updated everything on the Trade Ideas page yet, but I will this evening. And the other one is Whole Foods Market. We got in that, and then it pulled back some. So the high is 38.53. I think we got in around 38.42. We got calls. I think it's trying to turn. And so you just never know that once you know, okay, this is crossed, it looks like it's trying to turn. We've got pretty deep distance from the 233 here. I mean, you could easily get a snapback, you know, rally, but I also think that the 5 waves may be done on this thing in terms of the correction. So we'll see. And but that's the play. We're in that one. We're going to watch that, or you know, we'll continue to monitor it. And then 3 more that, let's see if I'm missing. Jinko Solar, there was no trade entry today on JKS, so that trade idea is canceled, okay, because it closed above the 10. I don't like the way it closed, so that trade idea is canceled. Now, Apple. I'm going to look at getting in calls on Apple tomorrow because I think it could be getting ready to do a little pop. I don't think it's a huge run because I do think we're in the 5th wave, and I think we're in some kind of little diagonal triangle, ending diagonal triangle here for the 5th wave, and I think it'll take us up here around 101 or so. I'm not sure. We'll have to watch and see. And you notice how when it closed above the blue line, the 10 here, it had a nice little pop. It wasn't huge, so I'm thinking the similar type thing is going to happen here on Apple. So that's the one we're going to look at getting into calls in the morning. And then next one is Cena that we're going to take a look at. And this was another one that we'd had on our radar and watch list. And we got our close above the 10 here. I do think it's a possibility it's going to turn. We'll have to watch and see. I'll have an entry point I like to see it prove itself to me. I don't want to just kind of go, oh, I got to close above the 10. Let's, automatically enter first thing in the morning. I want to see specific price action. And I do think we've got a little bit of a symmetrical triangle going on here. So that could be a nice turn, especially after this large complex correction that I think's happened. And so we'll see whether or not we get that or whether this breaks down out of the symmetrical triangle. And the last one is Rackspace. And again, well, let me get rid of that for a minute. I got a lot of lines on here, so I apologize. But this has done a big corrective move, I think, in A, B, C correction. And then in the process of doing that, I've got this green trend line, okay, across the bottom. I'm looking at, if it breaks that green trend line, I think it's confirming a big bull move, or maybe not a big bull move, but a move is underway to the upside. It'll do that before it gets up here to this neckline of what I think again is another, head and shoulders, like I talked about yesterday. The thing is, Rackspace, just to get to the neckline, will get up around 37 or so. And, where is it right now? 31. So that's just getting to the neckline. So we'll just have to watch and see. Right now, I'm going to look and see if we can't get in. We got a nice close above the 10. We'll see if we get a little continuation in here and see if we can't get this thing to go. I do think we've had one move, and this is a pullback too. And what I was doing with the retracement lines was doing a retracement off this first move and saying, okay, how much is it traced off of wave one? It's retraced well over 61.8%. So easily plenty of retracement to satisfy the needs of being a wave two. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this in here as a wave two. And I'll move that down a little bit, and we'll see if, and again, wave threes, pretty powerful, but this is going to be wave three of like a one. So anyway, that's it on Rackspace. We'll look to get in on calls on that, and I'll have the details on the Trade Ideas webpage. That's it for tonight. Hope you found the video helpful, and if you did, please share it on social media. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Just click on the little red box I've got on the screen there, and you'll be good to go. Download the PDF, put in your first name and email, and you'll be all set. So this is Joe from Beyond the Chart. We will see you on the next video.